welcome to episode 16 of Live Chat with Karen and Alex. And today we are talking about food heaven and food hell.
Oh, yes.
It's interesting. I mean, my daughter Caitlin asked me the other day, we were talking about food, and she said, what's your favourite meal? And I couldn't decide because it depends on my mood. But also, it kind of depends who you're with. Do you not think? Some foods, it kind of, like when you go out to a restaurant and the food's kind of all right, but the people you're with or the person you're with doesn't really matter. So the whole kind of experience altogether, it actually improves rubbishy food. And equally, you can be eating the most, at least theoretically, the best food ever. If you're with rubbishy company, it's horrible. You'd rather stay home and have a cheese sandwich. Oh, brilliant. So come on then, what jumps to mind? What's your food heaven and hell? And anything you would never try?
Well, I definitely could never. The never tries are probably easier than the other bit. So I would never try. I say I'd never try. I wouldn't like to try escargot.
Oh, okay.
However, only because I just think they'd be the texture of mushrooms, but with a bit of grit. But
chewy.
I never used to eat mushrooms until we went to Italy.
Okay, fair enough.
So I have been eating mushrooms, and although I'm not really a massive fan, they are so good for you, so full of zinc that
I'm intolerant to them, so I'm not having any. I can manage small amounts, but that's about it.
Yeah, but my favourites, I love Italian food.
Okay, well, fair enough. And that does cover a huge range, to be fair. It's not like one particular dish. If you're talking genres of food, then yeah, I can totally understand that.
Or if we're talking dishes and I've got to label it down, then I would say lasagna.
Okay. But that kind of depends who makes it and where it's from or whatever, does it? Because lasagna is not lasagna. Kind of depends where you are and who makes it.
Well, maybe actually that's very true, because we had spaghetti bolognese last night.
Yeah.
And my husband asked for lasagna, and my son said, no, I will only have lasagna if Nan makes it. Oh. Because although it's exactly the same recipe, we use the same ingredients because she taught me how to make lasagna. Mine doesn't taste as good as hers.
Now my son is kind of the same. I like my lasagna and other people like it, but my son will not eat mine unless he really has to. I mean, if he's hungry, he'll eat literally anything, but he will eat it from other places. It's funny, isn't it?
It's weird. Well, so here's a question for you.
Go then.
So if you were to have lasagna, so like I'd do lasagna, and then I would do either a side dish, depending on the time of year. So if it was summer, we'd have a side of salad. Yeah. And if it was winter, I'd have a side of peas. Like I love peas. I could eat peas morning, noon, and night. Love them. I haven't actually had them for ages, so maybe lunch today is a bowl of peas. But but my household always asks for chips.
I have to admit, I do like chips with lasagna, but I also like chips with salad. But equally, I like salad without chips and lasagna without chips. So I'm quite happy. And actually, it was away with some friends recently, staying at another friend's house. She did lasagna. She did hers with roast potatoes. No, kind of genius, actually. They were really, and to be fair, she had seasoned them beautifully. They were really good. But yeah, I mean, I can understand. You've got the starchy stuff in the potato and you've got the pasta.
It's carbs and carbs.
Exactly.
Carbs,
but it depends what you're having. I mean, but if you're not having dessert or a starter.
Sorry.
Kind of depends.
Anyone listening? Anyone not have dessert?
Well, I don't always have dessert.
Do you not always have dessert?
No, not always.
You would have been no good yesterday.
I can make exceptions, but I don't always know.
I took my husband for afternoon tea yesterday to the carriages.
Oh, my friend Karen works there. Oh, she's on reception.
Oh, I was dealing with her when I was booking.
Hair.
I don't think I saw her.
Oh yeah, it's my friend.
But yes, but I was dealing with her when I was booking. So hi Karen. Very nice, had an amazing time. But the food, I mean, we did manage to eat it all. Yeah. I think we had it was beautiful, a private carriage, but we saw all the people that they do sit-ins, so the people that were, had been in and they were coming out, they all had these like boxes with the cakes they couldn't manage
And you came up with no boxes.
We had no boxes. We had no boxes, but we were like waddling. We were waddling like, oh my God, I'm so full. But it was so good. But yeah, I have to have a pudding.
No,
well, I don't have to have a pudding if there's something I like on there.
Okay.
So do you not do when you're at a restaurant and you get the menu, like people say you're having a starter? I look at the puddings and I'm like, well, if there's something really nice I want,
yeah, I can
then
do
I'll do
that.
a pudding or a starter. But
to me, pudding's got to be kind of special. I mean, I'm not. You don't just want a bowl of ice cream or a piece of generic-y kind of cheesecake that's just. I mean, there was a time when I'd rather have had the starter and the dessert, not the main course. But now I kind of have a look.
Never done that one.
But I very, very rarely would I have all 3 courses, unless I was sharing the dessert with somebody. That's okay. I don't mind max. It's not a full amount then. But no, I don't always have a dessert. No.
Oh, okay.
That's all right. Then so we go out. I'll have the starter. You can have dessert. You can have the main course.
Well, you see, I am one of those people that I probably 9 times out of 10 I will have all 3 courses.
Okay, well that's fair. I don't always have a starter either, to be fair. So
well, it does depend what there is. I'm not really a big fishy fan.
Oh god,
I'll eat fish. I will eat fish. Very good for you.
Okay, then that brings us to one of my food hells. Even now, I'm not going to tell you how many years later. I even thought, I think it was when I was kind of a teenager, every Monday, we used to have a jacket potato, and I can't remember, it was kind of partially microwaved or whatever back then. My mum used to serve it with this boil in the bag, cod in parsley sauce on a jacket potato, and even now, I thought it makes me want to cringe and run away. Just I can't go with that. I mean, it was gross. And it was every Monday. I mean, what a start to your week. Not a choice, you're getting that. Like, no, these days I think I'd go, no, I just have to jacket potato to keep the fish away from me. No, horrible. I'm not a big fish eater either. I try to like it because it's good for you, but I struggle. I don't like it.
Yeah, so I must admit, I'm trying to change, but I struggle with things that are frozen.
Okay.
Unless it's frozen vegetables. To be fair, frozen vegetables now in this day and age are much better for you than fresh veg, because it was frozen a lot fresher than it's delivered fresher.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially with like the depleting nutrients in soils and the way we farm. So frozen is better, but I do struggle with frozen meat. I don't know if that's something I was.
No, I don't buy frozen meat.
I don't. Or fish. Because you were talking about frozen fish.
No, well, that no one should have to read that. I don't even know if they still make it. I know that's like torture.
I think you can get frozen.
Oh God, Lord. Yeah, that. I mean, I buy it for my son sometimes because he doesn't. For him it's useful. But no, I don't think I'd buy frozen meat particularly. I might freeze it now and then, but in my house with my son, meat doesn't last long enough to go in the freezer generally. No, I think my freezer, if I have anything in it, tends to have the predominance of vegetables, frozen veg, ice cream. My kids both like that. Some variety of frozen potato. Although I've recently discovered that it's just obviously I knew I could use actual potatoes to make chips. I'm not completely dim, but I've just been doing them on an oven shave, seasoning them. They're really nice. Doesn't take much longer, so there's less in there now. I don't have a lot in my freezer. Ice. There's always ice in my freezer because you never know when you might want to drink.
Yeah, so I need to make some more.
Definitely some ice.
I need to make some more ice. But so talking of childhood meals, there is something I used to have, which my mum, she might be mortified for me sharing this. She might not even remember that I remember this. But we used to have, it was so gorgeous, from Marks and Spencer's. I said she might be mortified about that. Marks and Spencer's. It was a tin of like mincemeat, but in a gravy.
That sounds truly disgusting.
And we used to have that with mashed potato and peas. Oh my God, it was so good. But do you know what? The nearest thing I've tasted to that is actually one of my other favourite meals is shepherd's pie. Like in the winter, I love shepherd's pie. Shepherd's pie, I love it. But the ivy do an amazing shepherd's pie. That's their signature. It's their signature dish. And the sauce, it's got some sort of sweetness. I have the biggest sweet tooth.
Well, obviously, if you've eaten all the desserts, that makes sense.
But the nearest to that taste is the Ivy shepherd's pie. The meat in the middle. I need to hunt down. I need to go to Marks and Spencer's and see if they still do this tinned. I don't know. I can't remember what it's called. It's just like tin. I mean, I'm going back.
Tinned mince.
I'm going back a lot of years. I must be going back. God, about more than 30 years.
Just not.
Yeah, I wasn't even a teenager. Or even if I was a teenager, that's still more than 30 years. Anyway,
that sounds horrible. I mean, I can deal with cottage pie if I make it, but I wouldn't eat it anywhere else.
Yeah,
because I know what's in it. And my mum used to make good cottage pie, to be fair. Not shepherd's pie. Don't really do that much.
Actually, well, I always call it shepherd's pie, but we always used to use meat.
Yeah,
beef.
I found out when I was probably, I don't know if it was my 20s or my 30s, some conversation we were having, and my mum kind of threw into this that I'd eaten rabbit once. I nearly slapped her. I was so horrified that I'd eaten this. Clearly, I didn't know at the time. Yeah, even however many years later, I thought I was going to throw up. And I don't think I spoke to her for a while.
Oh, no.
Like, how could you? She's like, well, you didn't know. I was like, I don't care. I know now. Why'd you tell me for? Certainly wouldn't be choosing to eat that.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. But then I don't eat a lot of meat. I'm not a huge fan of meat.
Yeah. If we go out, if we go to a restaurant, other than the Ivy.
Actually, my dad owes me a day there. He did promise me before lockdown.
It's so good. It is so good. But I would be more inclined to choose a vegan or vegetarian option than a meat option, because not everyone, like I remember my mum when I was growing up, she was like, I'm not cooking like 3 different meals or whatever. My nan used to do that for my dad, and my mum was like, no, I'm not doing that, like we all eat the same thing
or starve.
I
don't think we had that option.
So I tried to start. I did start off with that, and then Jake was so fussy in his younger years. I mean, okay, he's only 13, but when he was a lot younger, he was so fussy. Now he eats the same as us, pretty much. So, but I love vegetables. I love sauces. I love spices. Not that my body allows me to eat that too much.
No, there's things that doesn't agree
with you. There's a lot of
things
that don't agree with me. So I just decided I wasn't going to do that. But now I kind of do sometimes if there's something I fancy. But we're actually going out in a couple of weeks for a friend's birthday who's a vegan, and we're going to a vegan restaurant.
Okay.
So we got the menu, and sitting down, my husband's like, oh, actually there's nothing here I'm going to eat. I'm like, what do you mean? It's vegetables, but there's no meat. But like, but I personally do think younger people now are more educated in what needs to be done and the effects that food has on the planet and growing it and everything like that. But I just think older people.
Well, you say that, but my son, I don't really have an issue either way. I'm a big believer in if that works for you, you do that. If that works for you, you do that. Something not hate anybody particularly. I know you could say, well, you're hurting this, but that's a different subject. Yeah. But Alexander, my son, because of what he does, he knows about the proteins and all of this. And he's like, no, there is no substitute for actual meat. If that's what you need, that's what you have. All of this, that, and the next thing. He's like, no. So, I mean, he might not know much about what it's doing to the planet and this and the other, but he understands what it does for him and what he needs and how he needs to gain what he needs to for what he does. So, but yeah, he's like that. I don't think he could live without meat. Whereas, I mean, all right, I couldn't live without bacon sandwich. I'm not gonna lie.
Did that annoy you when you came in?
No, if there's some bacon in here, mine's always kicking bacon in here. But yeah, I can easily live without having it much. I'm really not a huge fan of meat particularly. Yeah. I must admit, I can go through stages. I mean, I'm really excited about trying all these different things. Fair enough. I'll try them.
I've chosen.
As long as there's no mushrooms in them, obviously. So that's the problem. So years ago, I was a vegetarian for quite a long time. But the problem then was that it was either cheese or something mushroom based. And I can't eat mushrooms. So it's like, No, not every vegetarian likes mushrooms. Not every vegetarian can eat mushrooms. You need some better options, please.
Yeah, but it's easier because you can ask them to do it without mushrooms. Yeah. But it is law that when you go somewhere to eat, they have to ask you if you have an allergy.
But yes, fair enough. I mean, it's not going to kill me, but if it's chopped up really finely, there's not a lot I can cope, but it's not, shouldn't really have them.
Yeah, but it is that thing, isn't it? But
so then for me, I guess if we were having a food heaven, see, I find it really hard to choose that, because I mean, it can be as simple as, so when I was in Spain with Caitlin 3 years ago, the most basic of food, we found this amazing, we went to quite a lot of restaurants, but we found this most amazing pizza takeaway. Honestly, I mean, I like pizza, but this was the best pizza I've ever had in my life. And it was just an ordinary pizza. So me and her with pizza, sat on the balcony in the evening, playing cards and eating that. To me, that's food heaven. Not necessarily because of the quality of the food, that was good, but because of who I was with and where I was and what we were doing. But in terms of one actual dish, I don't think I could choose that.
Yeah, see, the more you're talking, the more I'm thinking, well, Sunday roast.
See, I'm not a fan of those particularly.
Oh, I love Sunday roast.
And my son doesn't like them at all, so I rarely cook a roast. But even you know, when I've been away, sitting in the garden with, like, I don't know, fresh bread and spreadable cheese and ham, and the people I'm with a glass of wine or whatever it is, that's my idea of food heaven as well, because of everything that goes with it.
Yeah.
So I don't think, what they say, to be fair, don't they, it's the smell and the presentation, the look of food plays a big role in what it tastes like, which is probably why I probably don't eat a lot of meat, because I don't like how it looks. Knowing that, but yeah, I don't think it, to me at least, it's not as simple as just the actual food, because how many times have you eaten something abroad and you can buy exactly the same thing and you eat it and you go, I wouldn't taste anything like that, because you're in a different environment, you're probably more relaxed, chances are the sun is shining, you're probably, you know, all of those things play that role with what the food tastes like. It does to me anyway.
Yeah, well, it just changes your state of your hormones and
everything's better. Everything's better in the sun. Always.
Oh, everything is better in the sun.
But not the sun in this country. Just that doesn't work. There has to be foreign sun. Oh, I mean, obviously, I know the sun is the sun, but you know,
I just like the sun. Like, there's been some amazing days where the sun's been shining. The sun's shining today, so I'm squinting a little bit because it's like literally coming in over there. But yeah, I don't know. Okay, what about there's my sweet tooth coming out. What about puddings? Do you have a favourite pudding?
I'm quite a big fan of a good vanilla cheesecake, but I mean, like, with the vanilla pods and that in it. But I think, see, I'd often choose the fruit version of whatever it was I was having. But if I can have a really good quality Italian chocolate mousse, see, I love chocolate mousse, but I love good quality, and generally the best quality mousse I've had is in an Italian restaurant. That would probably have to be, but I don't know that I've got a dessert. I mean, I like things like Eton mess and anything with fresh strawberries and raspberries and stuff in it, but I don't think there is a dessert that I could say to you, I could eat that every week. Certainly couldn't eat it every day and never get tired of it. I mean, I haven't had this for such a long time. If any of you can make this, let me know, because I'm coming to visit Baked Alaska.
Oh my God. So I'm just sitting here ready to say Baked Alaska is my favourite.
Yeah.
You're in the right place.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Yeah, fantastic.
All my friends, all my friends, all my family, kids, you need to message and comment either on the podcast page or on our Facebook group to say how exquisite my baked Alaska is. So do you know what I love
just tell me, you have to make it now.
I will make it. I will make it. I will make it.
That's good.
I find them, well, apart from the fact it's gorgeous, and yes, well, the problem is you can't you can't have leftovers because it just
no
flops. But yeah, it has to all be eaten, but it is quite sickly and it is big, but it fascinates me. It absolutely fascinates me.
The combination of the freezing cold and the hot.
How you put frozen ice cream in the oven on the oven's hottest setting, Oh,
that's interesting. I haven't done that. I use a blowtorch.
Oh, I put mine in the oven.
Ooh, well, I've just tried that one out.
In the oven on the hottest setting.
I have tried a frozen version of it.
No, it's got to be homemade.
The meringue is not right when it's been frozen. It's just not right.
The only thing I cheat with is the flan base.
Oh, that's fine. I don't like that. Jam, flan, jam, ice cream. Yeah.
Oh no. See, I'm flan, raspberries.
Oh,
ice cream.
I can live with that.
Raspberries,
even better.
Meringue.
Yeah, okay, that's right. We'll be here. I know I came to see now for that dessert. I would travel for that dessert.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. There we go.
But in terms of food, I would never try. It's going to have to be some kind of like offal based anything. Like, yeah, no, just no.
No, I'm there with you. I'm with you.
Brains and just no, just no.
No.
No. Even in fact, that's the weird thing that everybody seems to like, and I do not like, is baked beans. I can't stand. I don't like the texture, but I do make my own version of baked beans with bacon and stuff. Now that's really good. But actually, no.
What is it about baked beans you don't like?
I think it's the texture, because I like tin spaghetti, but they're different. I don't like. No, especially when people eat them cold. Makes me want to.
No, cold baked beans. No, cold Chinese. Yeah.
See now, next day Chinese heated up. Yeah. See, I love pizza. I wouldn't eat it cold if you gave it to me. Don't like it cold. I don't like cold food or hot food cold. If it's meant to be hot, I like it hot.
Well, now you see, here's the thing. I was like that. Here's a thing.
We're going to have this conversation. Exactly.
I always used to turn my nose up at people who had iced coffee and iced tea, because
I've just
they're hot drinks, they're hot drinks, and hot drinks shouldn't be cold. And I remember when we launched our first coffee protein, and my friend was like, oh my God, you need to try this coffee protein. I was like,
yeah, it's pretty good actually.
I don't drink cold hot drinks.
Yeah, go on.
I have it practically every day over ice. It's so good.
See, now I like iced coffee. I have it most mornings. I don't like a hot drink that's gone cold. I won't drink that.
No, I won't drink
that. But
if
it's made cold, I wouldn't drink a hot coffee cold. But if I've got a coffee that's made cold, I will drink that and I like it.
Yeah.
But no, the texture is different.
Yeah,
no, it's weird. It's not right. No. And people that reheat their tea in the microwave, what's the deal with that? If I don't cook anything in the microwave, my kids, like, they'll put, I don't know, all sorts of things. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. I'd rather wait however long it is and put it in the oven. I think the only thing I use my microwave for is heating milk for my coffee. Yeah, that's probably, to be fair, I don't even do like spaghetti or anything like that. I put mine in a saucepan and heat them. I don't know what it is. I don't like.
Right, so there's 4 things I cook in my microwave. Scrambled egg.
Oh no, frying pan.
No, too much pushing up. Scrambled eggs. Peas cook the best in the microwave.
Well, I often use the water for gravy if I'm going to do that, so maybe not as much. But yeah, I get your point.
Porridge. I do my porridge in the microwave. And I eat my tea.
Strange. Packets of rice, I do use that because no, if my tea's cold, I'd rather have new tea. Okay, I've got a question.
It depends how many times though.
Oh no, if I've missed it twice, I'm not going back to it.
Yeah, but see, after I had Jake, I loved cups of tea. I don't drink as much tea as Martin. I don't think I drink as much tea as I used to, but literally I always had a cup of tea, and I would make a cup of tea, and then literally easily distracted. It's like up here.
Fair enough.
Do something else, and I'd be like, oh, tea's cold. So
And now we have the travel mug. You can make your tea and it's hot for hours. In fact, I make it at work sometimes and I put it in my, and I forget because obviously it's only got the little hot. I get to have a mouthful and talk to about my tongue. So now I have to make it, leave the lid off until they're sort of there on some nugget. See, that's the advantage. And even sometimes if I go out for coffee, I'll ask them for a takeaway cup because it stays hotter for longer. So now you don't have to keep reheating it, just use a different mug.
Okay.
But I've got a question for you. I saw this the other day and we have this debate in our house sometimes. So I eat very little with a spoon. I eat cereal with a spoon. Sometimes if I'm just having ice cream or so, I might even use a larger size teaspoon. But other than that, I use a fork. So my son will eat all sorts of things with a spoon. And that's weird. And this question, I can't remember, I was watching some program the other day and this kid said to her mum, if you could only choose to use one for the rest of your life, would it be a spoon or a fork? And my instant reaction was, well, a fork. I don't like it. So he might have cottage pie, not like it very often, certainly on this weather. He'll eat it with a spoon. I'm like, I don't get that. I don't understand what you'd eat. I don't know, it's weird.
Yeah. See, now I eat everything with a fork. So even to the point yesterday when we had our afternoon tea, I cut up. I don't not my sandwiches. I did eat them apparently rather quickly because you can't have the afters until you've eaten the mains.
Why, yeah, it's too busy.
So, but I cut up my cake, and obviously they're tiny little four things. I cut them up with a knife and fork, but there's Martin just like apart from. I do have to share this. He won't watch it. He can kill me. But so you have all the little finger sandwiches. And they did tell us what they were, but we obviously weren't paying enough attention.
Too busy drooling.
And there was a one with chicken. So I've like taken one, and you get two of everything. So I've taken the chicken one and I had a little bite in it, and I'm like chewing it, and I'm thinking, oh, it's a bit weird in here, but just carried on. It wasn't unpleasant or anything like that. It just was a bit weird. I don't know if I can't repeat his exact words, but literally he's opposite me because I was in a private carriage, and he was like, what on earth is this? And like
fruit in it.
It had it was apple and celery.
Okay.
But I didn't notice the celery at first. It was only because he like literally dissected his finger sandwich. But yeah, it was quite funny. But no, he wouldn't have he doesn't do fruit with food, whereas I will have. I have apple in my salad.
We talked about this before. Yeah. It's funny, isn't it? But yeah, I do. I love a salad with fruit in it.
Love it.
I know people are like horrified. It's like the old pizza,
pineapple on pizza,
always
all the way. And I had that in Vegas.
But you didn't get it in Italy.
No, I didn't. But pepperoni and pineapple on pizza was a thing. Excellent. I didn't even have to create my own. Good. It was already done.
Okay, so what?
But I'd have a fork.
Well, that's fair enough. Yeah, fork.
Yeah, if you could only have a fork or a spoon forever, fork. Then probably a spoon.
Really?
Well, because there are some, if you're making a soup,
I could live. I
can't have. Well, yeah, maybe. I mean, but I'll eat cake with. Even if it's a birthday cake, I'll have a fork.
So yeah, I'll be. The only thing I'd probably leave out there is cereal. I could live with that.
I don't eat cereal.
And you're
but then
I don't really like that.
Yeah, porridge. Can you eat porridge with a fork?
Yeah, it's not runny, is it? Particularly. Just make it slightly thicker and it'll be fine.
Maybe.
See, there's ways around it.
There are.
Or the old sporks.
Who?
A spork.
Spork. What's a spork?
Half spoon, half fork. A spork. Have you not seen a spork?
No.
You'll have to Google it.
I know spork.
It does exist.
Yeah, you're going to Google it right now. Carry on, Karen. Carry on.
Why don't you do some investigation? No, it does exist. Trust me.
Well,
it's a spork. See, there you go. You can take it camping. So you only need a spork and a knife.
Well, to me, that looks like a fork.
It's a spoon.
Oh, it looks like a baby.
It's weird, isn't it? It's just a fork with the tines are smaller, so you've got the cupped bit at the bottom of its head.
Let's find a decent image.
Show everyone this. If you don't know what a spork is, we're going to show you so that you've learned something today. But in terms of, so this is your next question when you finish doing your investigation. Go on then.
Okay, so this is, can you see that? That is a spork.
See, spoon fork. There you go. So you can cover both bases.
Maybe. Okay, sorry.
It looks awful though, doesn't it? It's like one of those cheap plastic things you get in the airport. Not that okay.
I have a set of 8 in my drawer.
Yeah.
Because you can't just have one.
No, obviously. Not in my house. If one runs away from them and then claims they don't have any, and I'm like, well, I can't eat anything because they have nothing. Okay. Something that you've always wanted to try and haven't yet, or a place you've always wanted to eat. Have you got one of those?
Oh, I've got a place I've always wanted to eat.
Okay, but is that because of the place or because of the food? Both.
Because of the place.
Because of the place.
Well, maybe, and the quality of the food.
Okay.
The Ritz.
Okay. Fair enough. You don't do an afternoon tea there,
I
don't you?
just because I'm open to an afternoon tea.
Yeah,
I'm open to normal food
maybe
as
you
well.
go and try that out.
I'm open to normal food as well.
I must admit, I do fancy Heston Blumenthal's, the fat duck. There's a long wait list for that, though. We've checked it out.
So we used to live up the road from there, years and years ago.
But only if he was there cooking it. I don't want any Joe Blogs kicking my food, thank you. Only if Heston's there.
I don't know if
Presented
it's
it to me.
really...
As you said, I've not looked at the menu recently. I'm not saying I don't like. But I don't know. Again, I still come back to who you're with and where you are. Plays a huge role.
Yeah. I mean, I have a favourite restaurant. Well, actually, now I have 2 favourite restaurants.
Oh, that's good.
So I have a favourite restaurant in Amsterdam. It's Pasta Basta.
Oh, I remember you saying that.
And that's Italian. But
That's
that's
funny,
only
though.
because of the atmosphere. Like,
Yeah.
the food is so basic. You can actually get 4 things on the menu. One is lasagna. One is spaghetti bolognese. But they all sing operatics.
Oh,
and
okay.
all the antipasties in a working piano. It's absolutely amazing. But my friends found me a similar place, or maybe I found a similar place. But anyway, for my birthday a few years ago, we went to this French restaurant in London. Begins with M. I can't remember the name of it. And they would all put their hands up. I know they're all listening because they listen all the time. But I remember on the train on the way home, they were like, do you know what? We were all really skeptical about coming here. We thought it was going to be not our thing. But they all absolutely loved it. They loved it. And what it was a similar thing, but it's a French restaurant. The food, I never in my life had food like it. It was exquisite. And all the waiters and waitresses were operatics. Oh. But like it was full on opera. It wasn't just like, and they sung Happy Birthday operatically. Oh, wow. Happy Birthday. It's got a video. I mean, literally, it was fantastic. One of the best.
Actually, if anyone's watching, Alex and I think we could be really good restaurant critics. So if anyone needs us to come and eat.
Afternoon teas are my speciality.
Yeah, Alex will do the desserts and I'll look at the rest of it. Yeah, we're quite happy to do that. So if anyone needs that, I'm sure we'll come for a visit. And or if you've got any restaurant recommendations for us, we're quite happy to go.
Yeah,
test things out.
I could be one of those undercover shoppers.
An undercover eater.
Undercover shopper. Oh, I could be an
undercover eater.
What did I used to call them? We used to have one come to the salon.
The mystery shoppers, aren't they?
Mystery shoppers, yeah.
To do that, we can go and eat food and take pictures. We have to take pictures of our food these days.
Yeah.
So food, you can't eat that. You
can't
picture that. And halfway through, it's so good, you forget. You go, oh, no, I forgot that. Okay. Half eaten it, but I'll still take a picture. It's fine. It's fine.
Amazing. Oh gosh.
So if you tell us what your food heaven and hell is, and if you've got a story as to why, let us know that as well, because we're always interested in why people do or don't like things.
Yeah. And would you use a spoon or a fork?
Yeah.
Or would you use one of these crazy sporks?
No, you know what it is. Everyone's going to go off and order them. Anything they're doing, what is that? Well, it was recommended. It's fine.
And are you also a Baked Alaska fan? Even if you haven't had one of mine, are you a Baked Alaska fan? And I think I'm going to have to video. Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to have to video you eating my Baked Alaska.
Oh, okay. I'll do that delicately. With
your spork. I'm going to get you a spork. I'm going to make Karen, for the next show, I'm going to make Karen eat a Baked Alaska with a spork.
That'd be interesting. I'm probably not wearing it. Okay, we can do that. I can live with that. I can live with that. As long as you don't make me eat baked beans, all is good.
Oh, baked bean, baked Alaska.
No, absolutely.
A double B Alaska.
Didn't they bring out a baked bean ice cream or something weird like that? Yeah, I mean, why? Just why?
I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Hot food, not cold food. Terrible this. So it has been a pleasure. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you same time, same place in a couple of weeks' time. So it's goodbye from Karen.
And it's goodbye from Alex.
See you soon.